everyone, welcome to Blue Lotus Gardens, my plant channel where I feature my plants and I just talk about all the planty stuff and how I care for them. Also a little bit of like my plant shop, Blue Lotus Gardens in Fort Worth, Texas. Links are all down below if you want to know more about. In today's video, I'm sharing with you my top 10 February favorites. I recommend that you subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and then also comment down below if you have any questions about anything that I have during the video. I do grow and then sell propagations through my Patreon and then also through my website as well. So links are all down below if you have any questions. On to the video. Okay, so first we're going to start with the Syngoniums. I think I have two of each of like for my collection. This is what I offer. So I have the Syngonium 3 Kings. I've been growing this out really nicely. It has this nice like splashing green on green variegation with a little bit of white as well. I would say not to keep it in a very bright light because it will damage your leaves a little bit, as you see here. But other than that, it's really easy to grow. It likes really nice, it likes moist soil. It propagates really easily as well. You just kind of have to like let it grow out. And then as you, it's a heavy feeder, so it does need a lot of fertilizer. So I would recommend either using a slow release fertilizer for the 3 Kings, so that way it really just kind of like thrives really well. Share a little update, a little close up there. So this is another favorite of mine, even though it's been really slow growing. I think I'm just gonna change this. I'm gonna repot it soon, so I think that's gonna like help it out. And I think also because I got it from where it was like dormant and just barely growing, so like now it's like growing and it has this like really nice funky pattern to it. Let me share that with y'all. It looks really pretty and I just really adore this Syngonium. It's small, it's one of the smaller ones. And it doesn't require a lot of heavy feeding from what I've experienced, but I might uptake the feeding a little bit, just a little bit, to see if it might actually grow a little bit faster. So let me show you again. And it's a little hard to unfurl. It does these little like taco shapes to it, like that. But if you see in there, it's just really pretty. It has like almost like a waxy leaf to it. Next, Philodendrons. I've been really enjoying this Philodendron Florida Ghost. I've propagated it about like 3 times already. This is the second stable propagation. I just recently propagated the full set. I might insert a picture here so that way you might see what I'm talking about. But it's one of the more easy to grow easy to grow philodendrons. I will say that you do need to clean the leaves on this because it does secrete this like sap on it. Its native habitat. It has like a symbiotic relationship with ants, so that way it kind of like protects it from pests. So if you see all these like sap or like these little like crystal kind of like formation on the stem of it, that's basically what it is. So I will say just make sure you clean it, because you will see like gnats and other little creatures try to like get there as well. But it's easy to grow. I have it in my grow tent, but you can really have it outside and growing in like a bright and direct light. I do recommend for all these plants to not keep them in like around vents, because that will just start to damage the foliage and the plant, and that will cause like leaf rot. So that's a good little way to just kind of like go about it. Here are the props for it. I have 2 currently. There's a top cutting for it, and then I'm just really like letting them grow out before I sell them, so that way when it's received, it's not as it's a little bit like easier to care for. This leaf is still like hardening off. This leaf is hardening off. Hardening off, by the way, refers to allowing the foliage to fully develop, so that way it has like all the conditions for it to photosynthesize properly and just really thrive in its condition. And then also, once it's not fully hardened off, you have a risk of like, like cutting the leaf or damaging the foliage, to just kind of like be careful with it. But I have it in sphagnum moss currently, and then once I get soil, I'm going to move it over to soil. I use Fox Farm soil, not the ocean one, it's the brown one. I'll put a little picture of it if I can. But that's the one I use. It's been doing really well for me, and all the other plants, like this one, that soil has like bat guano in it, and then also worm fertilizer, so it has like all the really like good nutrients for plants. Stick you over there, show over here too. So as you see, it's like 2 of those, and then I have another one that's bigger, and that's the mother plant. The next philodendron is the Philodendron Mame. I really love this philodendron, and it has this nice beautiful silver sheen to it, and unfortunately I did have it in really like too bright of conditions because I started to neglect it a little bit, but I moved it away from it, and currently it's not under in my grow tent anymore. It is just a natural light, so it just grows like this. This is one of the propagations for it. I have sphagnum moss on top of the top of it because it helps create a more moist environment, and if there are any like roots, it just kind of like helps it stabilize the plants really easily. So with my philodendron, my variegated philodendron bromarks, so ever since then I just kind of been doing that every just you notice something and it works and you just kind of stick on with it. Next I want to share with you 2 of my Monstera plants. Currently I'm growing this really beautiful Monstera acacoensis. It has like really nice glossy foliage. I unfortunately did keep this one in the grow tent a little bit too long, and it was under bright light, but you learn. And it needs like it requires more like medium bright light, so like medium bright indirect light, and moist soil. I also have this sphagnum moss on top of it as well. Look at that little like, oh. So it has like a little damage on it, but when you have that kind of issue, you just kind of like allow it to grow out, and then the next plant will just, the next leaf will be better. Right now it's in this juvenile stage, so I'm not really like focused on how the aesthetics look of it, so I'm just more focused on the plant really like stabilizing itself and growing really well. I have a little node right there, and then afterwards I basically like cut them all back down, and I'll explain later and how I do that. So this one is one of my monsteras that I really like a lot. So this is a Monstera lecellariana, not to be confused by the Monstera latiniana. They both are similar, but they have different leaf shapes, and they're both different Monstera addisonii species. the care requirement is really easy to care for. It likes really nice, moist, aerated soil, and I have a little bit more of a bark in here. It's orchid bark, and I just for myself, that's just for my care. That's how it's worked and done really well for it. Um, but what I like to do now is grow the plants out until they reach to their fenestration point, so that way afterwards you can those plants will like carry off that fenestration. I do really enjoy the way it looks like this. This is just a nice, beautiful leaf like that. But I do really love seeing a nice fenestrated leaf. Like that's gorgeous, and it's just brand new and glossy. Look at that little shine, and it has a little like new foliage. This is one of the fastest growing plants, and so I'll eventually like have it on my store, and then propagate it for people. Next I have some really cool Hoyas. I've been enjoying the large leaf Hoyas. I've have this is the first introduction to large leaf Hoyas, the Hoya AH006 big leaves. I'll write the name on here so don't forget. But it's a really nice Hoya. It has these really large leaves, and I haven't had this one to bloom. I barely got it, and I got a little propagation and treated that. So, or I sold it. Yeah, I sold it to somebody, so they can enjoy it as well. But this Hoya, the AH refers to Aloha Nursery, and then the 006 is like the collector number. So that way you all know as well. I'll talk a little bit more on the blog, so that way I have a little bit more to just write down about it. But this is a really fun Hoya. It's easy to grow. Once you cut it from like propagate it, it'll start to like branch off. It'll do this like, I don't know if you can see. Okay, maybe you can't see, but oh, there it goes. It's not really showing, but when you cut it off, it'll start to like emerge new growth. You know, have like this like reddish pinkish dot, so you'll see that. This is one of the easy to grow Hoyas. It really enjoys dry soil, a little bit more drier soil, and bright and direct light. So Hoya parasitica AH006 big leaves, super great Hoya. Next is the Hoya Spa. This has been my mystery Hoya right now. I love it. Look at this. Look at these like glossy, elongated leaves. They're just so gorgeous. And then the new foliage is a stunner. Like that's definitely like great. It looks so pretty. Like this ombre caramel color to it. I really like this one a lot. So recently, I don't know what it is. There's been so many names that were given to me, and I've really like looked into most if not all, and it's really still a mystery. I still don't know, and I think really once it flowers, it'll definitely like be able to like tell me which one it is. So, but this is the Hoya Spa for now. I'm growing in. It has like a nice thick leaf. I'm growing it in very bright light. But it doesn't require a lot of humidity. It's very low humidity tolerant, and the soil I have it moist, but it's like on the more drier side, so slightly moist. Okay, so last are my begonias. I received this at one of the plant swaps that I go to, and this is just really like been one of my like wish list plants, and I think I've been sharing this with you all, so I kind of like it's just one of my favorite to see grow. And I think I first saw this from Heart Shaped Leaves, and she had it on there, and she just shared such a beautiful plant. It was just so pretty, and I'm so excited to eventually like grow it out, and then do maybe some fun trades with other people and have like other begonias. But what I've been doing is keeping it in a very bright, humid environment, so it allows it to grow, and what I can tell you from my experience is that the hairier the begonia is, the more humidity it's going to require. But it has like these little hairs in order for it to capture like the humidity, in order for it to like thrive in that environment. It's just really a fun thick leaf begonia, and it grows really large, so I'm just excited to eventually see that. And then lastly is my little begonia, pink minx. This is a cane begonia, and it's just a really fun, easy to care for begonia, and more. And I say it's easier because it's a cane type begonia. Cane begonias are not as humid requirement, and I think that's really where the trouble lies. As someone that started off with begonias and started off with Rex begonias, or rhizomatous begonias. That's from my experience. And then I switched over to cane begonias. They're a bit easier. So cane begonias are easier. They don't require that much humidity, and they at most sometimes don't require too much light. So like medium, bright, and indirect light is really like all they really need. This is one of them that I'm also going to be like doing some fun Facebook games coming up. So if you're in my Facebook group, stay tuned for that. It's just some fun Facebook games moderators and I that have come up with in order to just kind of like share more plants and have a great time. From my experience, I just really just like sharing plants, and that's why I love going to the plant swaps and showing the plants there, and really meeting people and with other people and just seeing how they have been growing their plants. So, and then maybe just one more. So I've been really enjoying Syngoniums. This is a Syngonium confetti. There is a Syngonium milk confetti. Okay, so the way you would know is this inner part of the stem right here, it will be really white if it's a milk confetti, and then it'll be just regular like this if it's a confetti. So that's usually a confusion that's been kind of like when I was like looking for this plant, but they're both really beautiful plants, and this is just one of them that's just gorgeous to even collect and have in your collection. I recently just sold a little bit of it. It was a bigger leaf, a bigger part of it, and it's doing really well. It just took off. It put off these 2 new leaves, so this is really easy to grow. It likes really moist soil, but doesn't like to be wet, and it likes like really bright indirect light. I keep it in my grow tent for now, but you can also keep it outside, and just keep it with like a more moist soil. Alright everyone, well, I really enjoyed sharing my top 10 favorites for the month of February with you all. I love doing my favorites videos because it really shares the plants that I'm growing for the store, and then these are always like great because it helps keep my website going, and then also like I do this full time, so it's just really great to even just be able to like share this with you all, and especially I just enjoy doing this and making videos of like my plants. Okay, I want to thank my Patreon members for being super supportive for my website and my plant shop, and just really helping out getting a lot of like really cool plants in for the shop and just getting this year going. And then all of you also for all the amazing support that has been given, all the new subscribers and all the new members for my website. Thank you all. I think that's just really amazing that there's people out there that are just really like enjoying what I'm doing. I just enjoy sharing my what I know and my plans with you all, and propagating them and training with you all, and just like getting to meet you all. Like it's been just a really great time, and so thank you all for that. Y'all have a great day. Bye.